Hi everyone, today I'll solve the questions in the past paper IGCSE Mathematics 0580 in October-November 2023, and this is question paper 43. Question 1. The table shows the amount received when exchanging $100 in some countries. So you can look at the table and you see that the left column is the countries like Wales, India, China, Spain. And on the right hand side, we have the amount received for $100. A. Bread changes to $50 to Indian rupees. To $50 into Indian rupees. This is Indian rupees. And you know that $100 is equal to 7,437.05 rupees. So, if we have $250, then how much is it in rupees? So in this case, we need to multiply 250 by 7,437.05, and then we divide it by $100. So the answer is equal to 18,593 rupees. B. Wang changes 5,400 Chinese yuan into dollars. Calculate how much he receives in dollars, correct to the nearest cent. So look at the table and you see that $100 is equal to 671.20 Chinese yuan. So if you have 5,400 Chinese yuan, then how much is it in dollars? In this case, we need to multiply 5,400 by 100, and then we divide it by 671.20. So the answer is $804.53. C. Gretel lives in Spain and goes on holiday to Wales. She spent 3,500 euros in total on travel and hotels in the ratio travel to hotels equals 4 to 3. 1. Work out how much Gretel spends in euros on travel. So we see that 4 plus 3 equals 7 units. This is the total. 7 units is corresponding to 3,500 euros. And we see that travel accounts for 4 units. So I'll write it here. Travel is equal to 4 units. And 4 units is corresponding to how many euros? To do this, we'll divide 3,500 euros by 7 units to find the value of 1 unit. Then we multiply the value of 1 unit by 4 to find the amount she spent on travels, which is 2,000 euros. Next, work out how much she spends in pounds on hotels. First of all, look at the ratio. The hotel accounts for 3 units. And if we want to know 3 units is corresponding to how many euros, then we do the same thing as question 1. We also divide 3,500 by 7 to find the value of 1 unit. Then we multiply it by 3. So it is 1,500 euros. And now we will try to convert this to pounds. How to do it? Let's check the table. $100 is corresponding to 77.05 pounds. And it is also equal to 85.35 euros. So let's rewrite that. $100 is equal to 77.05 pounds. and it is also equal to 85.35 euros. So in this case, if we have 1,500 euros, then it is equal to how many pounds? So in this case, we will need to multiply 1,500 by 77.05. Then we divide it by 85.35 euros. So the answer is 1,354.13 pounds. Number 3. Rito flies home to Spain. The plane flies a distance of 2,200 kilometers, correct to the nearest 100 kilometers. So from this, we can find the upper and lower bound of the distance. The distance is equal to 2,200 kilometers. And it is correct to the nearest 100 kilometers. This means the margin of error is 100 kilometers. And you know 100 kilometers, 100 kilometers divided by 2 is 50 kilometers. So in this case, we need to add 50 and we subtract 50 kilometers to find the upper and lower bound. 2,200 plus 50 is 2,250. And when we subtract 50, we get 2,150 kilometers. So this is the upper and lower bound for the distance. Next, the average speed of the plane is 740 kilometers per hour, correct to the nearest 20 kilometers per hour. So we also draw the diagram for the speed. The speed is 740 kilometers per hour. And the margin of error in this case is 20 kilometers per hour. And 20 kilometers per hour divided by 2 is equal to 10 kilometers per hour. So we also add 10 and we subtract 10. We add 50 and we subtract 50 for the distance. So 740 plus 10 is 750. If we subtract 10, we get 730. So this is the upper and lower bound for the average speed. Now, calculate the lower bound of the time taken in hours and minutes. First of all, according to the DST triangle, you know that the time is equal to distance divided by the speed. So if you want to find the lower bound of the time, then we need the lower bound of the distance divided by the upper bound of the speed. The lower bound of the distance is 2,150. The upper bound of the speed is 750. Here it is. And the answer for this is 2.87 hours. So I'll split it into 2 hours and 0.87 hours multiplied by 60 minutes, which is 52 minutes. So the answer is 2 hours and 52 minutes. Question 2. The table shows the number of each type of bird seen in a garden on Monday. The first column is the type of bird, the second column is the frequency, and the last column is the sector angle of the pie chart. A. Find the percentage of the birds that are starlings. To do this, first of all, we need to find the total number of birds. The total is equal to 8 plus 6 plus 11 plus 5, which is 30. So I'll write the column of the total here, 30 birds. And the number of starlings is Here it is 11. So the percentage is 11 out of 30. Then we multiply it by 100%. So this one is equal to 36.7%. B. In the table, complete the column for the pie chart sector angle. You know that the full angle is 360 degrees. So in this case, we need to complete this table. For example, 96 degrees can be calculated as, first we divide 360 degrees by 30 birds to find the angle for one bird, which is 12. And then 12 multiplied by 8 is 96 degrees. Now we do the same thing for the other birds. This one is 360 divided by 30, then we multiply by 6. So it is 72 degrees. And then for the starlings, 360 divided by 30, then we multiply by 11. So it is 132 degrees. Finally, the last one is 360 over 30 multiplied by 5. So it is 60 degrees. Number 2, complete the pie chart to show the information in the table. So first of all, the goldfinch is 96 degrees. And now we draw the angle for J, 72 degrees. You should use a projector to help you with this. 72 degrees for J. And then starling 132 degrees. Starling. This angle is 132 degrees. And finally, the last one is robin, which is 60 degrees. C. On Tuesday, the number of goldfinches seen in the garden increased by 262.5%. Calculate the number of goldfinches seen on Tuesday. So let's check the table again. On Monday, the number of goldfinch is 8. So we start with 8. And then on Tuesday, it increased by 262.5%. So we add 1 to 262.5%. And this one is equal to 29 goldfinches. D. Write 1,500 million in standard form. First of all, you know 1,500 million means there are 6 more zeros. And to write this in standard form, you know the standard form means A multiplied by 10 to the power of n. And remember, A must be the value from 1 to less than 10, and n is an integer. So to get the value of 8, we need to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Because 1.5 is between 1 and less than 10. And you see that we need to move the decimal point 9 places to the left. So it means 1.5 times 10 to the power of 9. Number 2, the land area of sub-Saharan Africa is approximately 21.2 million square kilometers. Work out the average number of these birds per square kilometer. So we see that the number of birds is 1.5 times 10 to the power of 9 birds. And the area is 21.2 million. Million means we multiply by 10 to the power of 6 square kilometers. So this one is equal to 70.8 birds per kilometer squared. Question 3. A. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. So when we look at these two triangles, we see that the transformation should be a rotation. And to describe the rotation, we need three things. The first one is the center of rotation. And the second thing is the angle, how many degrees. And finally, the direction, is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? Now let's take a look at these two triangles. From A to B, it should be an angle of 90 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. So we'll choose an angle of 90 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. So we skip this one. Now let's find the center. To find the center, you can use a set square or the tracing paper to help you. For example, let's plot these two corresponding points. So the center is somewhere at 2, 7, because the two blue lines make a right angle in the anti-clockwise direction. You can also check the other 2 points. For example, these 2 green points. They also make a right angle in the anti-clockwise direction. Here it is. So if you want, you can check one more pair of points, the right angle corner, and you will also get the same answer. So for the first question, we say that the rotation, the center is at 2, 7. Angle 90 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. B. Draw the image of triangle A after a reflection in the line y equals 1. So first of all, we'll draw the line y equals 1. Here we go. And now let's draw the reflection of the triangle A after this. So we'll check each point. For example, this red point, 1 unit, 2 units. So we continue 1, 2 units. So this is the image of that red point. Similarly, for this blue point, we also check 1, 2, and then 1, 2. So this is the image of the blue point. And now let's remove these. And we don't need to find the third point. We can draw the answer directly. It is like this. So this is the image of the triangle A after a reflection in the line y equals 0. This is question B, number 1. B2. Draw the image of triangle A after a translation by vector 5, 7, negative 7. So 5 means we move to the right 5 units, and negative 7 means we move down 7 units. So let's start from this point. And then we move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the right. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units down. So the image of that point is here. And from one point, we can also draw the image of the whole triangle A. We just draw the same shape in the same direction. So this one is the answer for question B, number 2. And finally, B3, an enlargement scale factor 2, center negative 4, 5. The scale factor of 2, this means first, the image is twice of the origin. And they are in the same direction of the center. So let's plot the point -4, 5. This is the center. -4, 5 is at this point. This is the center of the enlargement. -4, 5. So from this point, we check the distance to this green point. It is 1 unit. So we double this distance and we get here. This one is the image of that green point. And then we also check the distance from the center to the red point. It is 2 units. So we continue to move 2 more units. And this one is the image of that red point. Then we also check the distance from the center to the purple point. It is 2 units. So we continue to move on 2 more units. So the image of the purple point is here. And finally, we'll join these 3 points together. And this is the image of the triangle A after an enlargement. Scale factor 2 in, and the center is -4, 5. This is question B, number 3. Question 4. Find the size of one interior angle of a regular 10-sided polygon. So first of all, we know that the sum of the angles in a 10-sided polygon is n minus 2 times 180 degrees. And if you want to find the interior angle, one interior angle in a regular means all the 10 angles are the same. So we'll divide the sum of the angles by the number of angles, which means we divide it by n. So let's substitute n equals 10. So 10 minus 2 times 180 degrees, then we divide it by 10. And the answer is 144 degrees. B. The points A, B, C, D, and E lie on a circle. FG is a tangent to the circle at D. EB is parallel to DC. EB is parallel to DC. Find the value of each of W, X, Y, and Z. So first of all, we see that the angle X is the angle subtended the chord ED. X is the angle subtended the chord ED. And 20 degrees, this angle D is also the angle formed by the chord ED and the tangent FD. So X should be equal to 20 degrees. This is the first thing. And then W should also be equal to X, which is 20 degrees because they subtended the same chord. They subtended the same chord ED. And then we know that X is 20 degrees, W is also 20 degrees. So this angle should also be 20 degrees because they make an alternate interior angles. W and the angle BDC are alternate interior angles. So this one is 20 degrees. And now we see that the angle DAC, this blue angle, is the angle subtended the chord DC. And I also see that this angle, this blue angle, is the angle formed by the chord DC and the tangent DG. This means the angle DAC is equal to 25 degrees. DAC is 25 degrees. So we can look at the triangle ADC. In the triangle ADC, we see that the angle A plus the angle D plus the angle C should be 180 degrees. Angle A is 25 degrees. The angle D includes Y and 20 degrees, plus the angle C is 75 degrees. So the sum is 180. To find the value of Y, we subtract 25, 20, and 75 from 180. So the answer for Y is 60 degrees. If Y is 60 degrees, then the angle AAB should also be 60 degrees because they are the angles subtended the same chord AB. And now we can find the size of the angle Z. To find the size of the angle Z, we will look at the cyclic quadrilateral AADC. Quadrilateral. This is a cyclic quadrilateral AADC. Because in this quadrilateral, the angle AAD plus the angle ACD, they are the opposite angle, so they add up to 180 degrees. The angle AED includes 60 degrees plus Z, and the angle ACD is 75 degrees. So we can find the size of the angle Z by subtracting 60 and 75 degrees from 180. So this one is equal to 45 degrees. So we can say that W and X are 20 degrees, Y is 60 degrees, and Z is 45 degrees. That's it for question 4. Question 5. Indira records the time taken for workers in her company to travel to work. The table and the histogram each show part of this information. The first row is the time in minutes, and the second row is the frequency. And in the diagram, you see that the horizontal line shows the time in minutes, and the vertical line shows the frequency density. So let's talk about the frequency density. We know that the formula for the frequency density is equal to the frequency divided by class width. And we also have the formula for the frequency. To find the frequency, we multiply the frequency density by the class width. So in the first two columns, you see that we don't have the frequency, but we know that the frequency density for the first block is 2.8, and the frequency density for the second block is 3. So we can find the frequency of the first column by multiplying the frequency density 2.8 by the class width, which is 10 minus 0. So 2.8 times 10 is 28. So this one is 28. For the second block, the frequency is equal to the frequency density 3 multiplied by the class width, which is 25 minus 10. So 3 times 15 is 45. So this one is 45. And now let's talk about the frequency density of the third block. It is frequency 57 divided by class width, which means 40 minus 25. So this one is equal to 3.8. And for the fourth block, the frequency density is equal to frequency 38 divided by class width, 60 minus 40. So this is 38 divided by 20, which is 1.9. Finally, frequency density of the fifth block is frequency 12 divided by class width, 80 minus 60 equals 12 divided by 20. So the answer is 0.6. And now we'll draw the histogram for the last three blocks. The third block is from 25 to 40. The fourth block is from 40 to 60, and the last block is from 60 to 80. The third block has a height of 3.8. Here we go, 3.8. So this is the third block. And the fourth block has a height of 1.9. The last block has a height of 0.6. This is 0.6, 1.9, and 3.8. A. Complete the table and the histogram. So we finished question A. B. Calculate an estimate of the mean time. To calculate the mean time, we need to find the mid-value of each interval. For the first one, the mid-value of 0 and 10 is 5 because 0 plus 10 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. For the second block, 10 plus 25 is 35. 35 divided by 2 is 17.5. And then 25 plus 40 is 65. 65 divided by 2 is 32.5. The middle value of 40 and 60 is 50 because they add up to 100 and then we divide by 2, so it's 50. The middle value of 60 and 80 is 70 because 60 plus 80 is 140. 140 divided by 2 is 70. Now we'll multiply the middle value by the frequency, which means 5 times 28, 17.5 times 45, 32.5 times 57, 50 times 38, and 70 times 12. We multiply these pairs together, and finally we add up them. So let's write it. 5 times 28 plus 17.5 times 45 plus 32.5 times 57 plus 50 times 38 plus 70 times 12. Then we divide this by the total frequency. The total frequency is, we need to add up the 5 numbers. 28 plus 45 plus 57 plus 38 plus 12. So the answer for this is 30.7 minutes. Question C. Rashid says the longest time that any of these workers travel to work is 80 minutes. The longest time. Give a reason why Rashid may be wrong. So let's check the table again. 80 is the highest value, but actually we cannot be sure that is the longest time that any workers can travel to work because maybe the maximum value is only 78, 75, or 79.5, for example. It doesn't really need to be 80 because we don't have the exact values here. So we say that he is wrong because the exact value are not shown in the table. D. Indira picks 3 workers at random from those who take longer than 25 minutes to travel to work. So the denominator should be those who takes longer than 25 minutes. Let's check the table. 25 minutes is here. So we'll add up 57, 38, and 12. 57 plus 38 plus 12 is equal to 107. This is the total number of people that we can pick. Then we calculate the probability that one worker takes 60 minutes or less and the other 2 workers takes more than 60 minutes. So the first worker takes 60 minutes or less, how many people? 60 minutes or less, these two columns. They are 57 plus 38. 57. 60 minutes or less. They are 57 plus 38 equals 95. And the other two workers take more than 60 minutes. So let's check this. More than 60 minutes. This one, 12 workers. So we'll write it here. More than 60 minutes. There are 12 workers. So to find the probability of this, maybe the first worker takes 60 minutes or less, and the other two workers takes more than 60 minutes. Or maybe the first worker is more than 60 minutes. The second worker is 60 minutes or less, and the last worker takes more than 60 minutes. Or maybe the first two workers take more than 60 minutes, and the last worker takes 60 minutes or less. So the probability of the first case is 60 minutes or less, 95 over 107. Multiply by 12. After picking one worker, now we only have 106. And after picking one more, now we only have 105 workers. But the number who takes more than 60 minutes is only 11 now, after we pick one. For the second case, we do the same thing here. More than 60 minutes is 12 out of 107. Multiply by 60 minutes or less, 95 out of 106. And finally, this is 11 out of 105. Or more than 60 minutes, 12 out of 107. Multiply by 11 out of 106. Multiply by 60 minutes or less, 95 out of 105. So you can see that these three have the same numerator, 95, 12, and 11. And they also have the same denominator, 107, 106, 105. So we just calculate 1 and then we multiply it by 3. So the answer is 1,254 over 39,697. So this is the final answer for question 5. Question 6. F of x equals 5x minus 3. So in the first question, we need to find f of 2, which means we substitute 2 into x, into f of x. 5 times 2 is 10, 10 minus 3 is 7. Second question, find g of f of 0.5. First, f of 0.5 means we substitute 0.5 into f. 5 times 0.5 is 2.5. 2.5 minus 3 is negative 0.5. And then g of f of 0.5 means we find g of negative 0.5. So I'll substitute this into g of x, which is 64 to the power of negative 0.5. And this means 64 to the power of negative 1/2. So it means 1 over the square root of 64. The negative sign means we flip it, and 1/2 means we take the square root. So this one is equal to 1 over 8. B. Find the inverse of h of x. You know that h of x means y equals 2 over x plus 1. To find the inverse function, we change y to x and we change x to y. Now we need to make y the subject by cross multiplying x and y plus 1 over 2. Now we expand the brackets, xy plus x equals 2. So xy is equal to, we subtract x from both sides. And to make y the subject, we divide both sides by x. So the answer is 2 minus x over x. Or you can write 2 over x minus 1. They are the same thing. C. Find x when g of x is 1 over 2 to the power of 5. You know that g of x is equal to 64 to the power of x. And now if g of x is equal to 1 over 2 to the power of 5. So let's solve this equation. 64 means 2 to the power of 6, then to the power of x. And 1 over 2 to the power of 5 means 2 to the power of negative 5. So now 2 to the power of 6x is equal to 2 to the power of negative 5. Because you need to remember this, a to the power of negative m is equal to 1 over a to the power of n. So this means 6x is equal to negative 5. So x is negative 5 over 6. The final answer is negative 5 over 6. D. Write as a single fraction in simplest form 1 over f of x minus h of x. You know that f of x is 5x minus 3 and h of x is 2 over x plus 1. So 1 over f of x minus h of x is equal to 1 over 5x minus 3 minus 2 over x plus 1. Now, the denominator are not the same, so we need to write them as the common denominator. 5x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 1. 1 multiplied by x plus 1 is x plus 1. And then 2 times 5x minus 3. Remember to put this in brackets. And now let's expand the brackets. X plus 1. Negative 2 times 5x is negative 10x. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6 over 5x minus 3 times x plus 1. Now we simplify the numerator. X minus 10x is negative 9x. 1 plus 6 is positive 7 over 5x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 1. And this is the final answer. Question 7. Complete the table of values for y equals 3 cos 2x. For x equals 45 degrees, then 3 multiplied by cos 2 times 45 degrees is equal to 0. So y is equal to 0 for this. And for the second value 60, we find that 3 cos 2 times 60 degrees is equal to negative 1.5 because we need to write the answer correct to 1 decimal place. And finally, 3 multiplied by cos 2 times 80 degrees is equal to negative 2.8. So now we'll plot these points on the graph. The first one 0, 3, 10, 2.8, 20, 2.3, 30, 1.5, 40, 0.5, 50, negative 0.5, 60, negative 1.5, 70, negative 2.3, 80, negative 2.8, 90, negative 3. So we use a curved line to join these red points together. To complete the graph of y equals 3 cos 2x, C. Use your graph to solve the equation 3 cos 2x equals -2. So the solution of this equation will be the intersection of the two lines, y equals 3 cos 2x. This is what we just draw. And now we also need to draw the line y equals -2. Y equals -2 is this blue line. And we see that the intersection of this is around 66 degrees. D. By drawing a suitable straight line, solve the equation 120 cos 2x equals 80 minus x. So first of all, I want to divide both sides by 40. 120 cos 2x equals 80 minus x. I'll divide both sides by 40 because 120 divided by 40 is 3. So we have 3 cos 2x. This is what we want. And we also keep 80 minus x over 40 on the right hand side. So the solution of this equation will be the intersection of the line y equals 3 cos 2x. This is what we have on the graph. Now we draw the line y equals 80 minus x over 40. To draw the line 80 over minus x over 40, we will need two pairs of points. When x is 0, 80 minus 0 over 40 equals 2. And if x is equal to 40, then 80 minus 40 is 40. 40 divided by 40 equals 1. So we plot the 2 points 0, 2, and 41. 0, 2, and 41 here it is. Let's join these 2 points together. And we see that the intersection of the red and the green line is here. This one, the solution is 33. And the blue point is 66 degrees. So we write down the answer for the last question. X equals 33 degrees. Question 8. The diagram shows a shape made from a major sector AOB and triangles OBC and AOD. OB equals 6 centimeters, BC equals 2 centimeters. Obtuse angle AOC is 135 degrees and angle BCO is 90 degrees. 1. Show that the angle BOC, this red angle, BOC is 19.5 degrees, correct to 1 decimal place. So we see that the triangle OBC is a right angle triangle. And in this triangle, 2 is the opposite side. 6 centimeters is the hypotenuse. So we know that we should use the sin rule. SOHCAHTOA. Sin of the angle BOC is equal to opposite 2 centimeters over hypotenuse 6 centimeters. So to find the angle BOC, we find the inverse of sin 2 6. So the angle is 19.47 degrees. And if you round it to 1 decimal place, it is 19.5 degrees. Second question, calculate the area of the major sector AOB. We see that the major sector AOB is this sector. We need to find the area of the yellow section. To do this, first of all, we need to find the sector angle, the blue angle theta. We know that the angle around a point is 360 degrees. So to find the blue angle, we will subtract 135 and 19.5 from 360 degrees. So the angle theta is 205.5 degrees. Then the area of the sector is equal to theta over 360 multiplied by the area of the circle, which is pi r squared. And in this case, theta is 205.5 over 360. Then we multiply by pi. The radius is OB, which is 6 centimeters. So the answer for this is 64.6 square centimeters. This is the answer for the second question. Number 3. C is the midpoint of OD. Calculate AD. So let's take a look at this. C is the midpoint of OD. So OC is equal to CD. And we want to find the length of AD. AD is this line. Look at the triangle OAD. We know that the length of OA is 6 centimeters. And we can also find the length of OD by finding the length of OC first, because OC is in the triangle OBC. This is question number 3. In the triangle OBC, OC is equal to OB squared minus BC squared. And then we take the square root of it. OB is 6 centimeters. BC is 2 centimeters. So this one is equal to 4 root 2 centimeters. And then we can find the length of OD by double the length of OC, which is 2 multiplied by 4 root 2. So it is 8 root 2 centimeters. OD is 8 root 2 centimeters. Now we have two sides, OA and OD. We also know the size of the angle AOD, so we can find the length of AD using the cos rule. The length of AD squared is equal to OA squared plus OD squared minus 2 times OA times OD multiplied by cos AOC. So AD is equal to, OA is 6, OD is 8 root 2, OD is 8 root 2 minus 2 times OA times OD multiplied by cos AOC, which is cos of 135 degrees. Then we take the square root of this. So the answer is equal to 2 root 65, and this one is equal to 16.1 centimeters. Correct you 3 significant figures. Number 4, calculate the total area of the shape. So we see that the shape has 3 parts. I'll call this as A1, A2, and this is A3. And let's calculate the area of each part. First, A1 is the area of the sector, and we already know that it is equal to 64.6 square centimeters. And then A2 is the area of the triangle AOD. So A2 is equal to 1/2 of OA multiplied by OD multiplied by sin of the angle AOD. So 1/2 OA is 6, OD is 8 root 2, and the angle AOD is 135 degrees. So this one is equal to 24 root 2 times sin 135 degrees. Finally, A3 is equal to OC multiplied by CB, then we divide it by 2. OC is 4 root 2 and CB is 2 centimeters, then we divide it by 2, and the answer is 4 root 2. Now we will add up 64.6 centimeters and 24 root 2 sin 135 and 4 root 2 together. So the total area is equal to 94.3 square centimeters. This is question number 4. Question B. A sector of a circle has a radius 8 centimeters. So the radius is 8 and area 160 square centimeters. A mathematically similar sector has radius 20 centimeters. So the second radius is 20 centimeters. Now calculate the area of the larger sector, which means we want to calculate the area of the second shape. We know that the ratio of the area is equal to the square of the ratio of the length. In this case, that is the ratio of the radius. So A1 is 160, A2 is what we want to find, and the ratio of the radius is 8 over 20. 8 squared is 64, 20 squared is 400. So A2 is equal to 160 multiplied by 400, then we divide it by 64. So the answer is 1000 square centimeters. Question 9. A is the point 02, B is 33, and C is 40. A. Determine if triangle ABC is scalene and isosceles or equilateral. You must show on your working. To know that what type of triangle is this, we should find the length of each side. AB is equal to XB minus XA squared plus YB minus YA squared. So this one is equal to the square root of 10. BC is equal to the square root of XC minus XB squared plus YC minus YB squared. So BC is equal to the square root of 10. Finally, CA is equal to the square root of XA minus XC squared plus YA minus YC squared. So this one is equal to the square root of 20. So we see that the side AB and BC are equal to each other. So this means ABC is an isosceles triangle. B. Find the equation of the line AC. Give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. To find the equation of the line AC, first we find the gradient of AC. This one is equal to YC minus YA over XC minus XA. Difference in Y over difference in X. YC is 0, YA is 2, and XC is 4. XA is 0. So this one is negative 2 over 4, which is negative 1/2. And we know that the line AC also passes through the point A or the point C. But in this case, I will choose A, 0, 2. So this means the y-intercept is 2. Or you can also substitute them into the equation y equals mx plus c, and you see that y is 2, x is 0, m is negative 1/2 plus c. So c is equal to 2. And so we see that the gradient is negative 1/2 and c is 2. So the equation of the line AC is negative 1/2 of x plus 2. Second question. Find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AC. Give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. You know that the perpendicular bisector of AC has two properties. First of all, the gradient it is perpendicular to the line AC, so the gradient of this line multiplied by the gradient of AC is -1. And the second property is that it passes through the midpoint of AC. Midpoint of AC. So let's start from the first one. The gradient of the perpendicular bisector multiplied by the gradient of AC equals -1. So from the previous question, we know that the gradient of AC is -1/2, which means to find the gradient of the perpendicular bisector, we divide -1 by -1/2. So it is equal to 2. And the second thing, we'll find the midpoint of AC. Midpoint of AC. This one is the average of XA and XC, and the average of YA and YC. In the question, we see that XA is equal to 0, XC is 4, YA is 2, and YC is 0. So the midpoint is 4/2 equals 2, 2/2 equals 1. This is the midpoint of AC. Now we'll substitute the gradient and the midpoint into the formula y equals mx plus c. In this case, y is 1, x is 2, and the gradient is also 2. So c is equal to 1 minus 2 times 2, which is 1 minus 4 equals -3. So we see that the gradient is 2 and c is -3. So the answer is y equals 2x minus 3. Number 3, ABCD is a kite. You know that from question A1, ABC is an isosceles triangle because AB equals √10, AC is √20, and BC is also √10. So B is the vertex here, A and C. So this one is the point D. D has the coordinate W for W plus 1. And we also know that they should lie on the perpendicular bisector of AC. The perpendicular bisector of AC has an equation of y equals 2x minus 3. We know this from question 2, B2. So we can substitute the coordinate of the point D into this equation. D is on the perpendicular bisector of AC. So D belongs to the line y equals 2x plus minus 3. And the coordinate of the point D is W for W plus 1. So from these two, we can say that y is for W plus 1 is equal to 2 times W minus 3. And now we need to solve this equation by subtracting 2W from both sides. And then we also subtract 1 from both sides. Finally, we divide both sides by 2. So it's gonna be -2. Then 4W plus 1 is 4 times -2 plus 1. This is -8 plus 1 equals -7. So the point D has a coordinates of -2, -7. -2, -7. Question 10. A. Expand and simplify. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times -1 is -4. -6 times 3 is -18. -6 times -x is +6x. 8x plus 6x is 14x. And then negative 4 minus 18 is negative 22. B. Factorize completely. The common factor of 6 and 9 is 3. The common factor of x squared, y, and xy is xy. 6 divided by 3 equals 2, and x squared y divided by xy is x, plus 9 divided by 3 is 3. So the answer is 3xy multiplied by 2x plus 3. Second question, 4x squared means 2x all squared minus y squared plus 8x plus 4y. For the first pair, this has the form a squared minus b squared, so it is equal to a minus b multiplied by a plus b, which is 2x minus y multiplied by 2x plus y. And for the second pair, the common factor is 4. So we have 2x plus y left. And now the new common factor is 2x plus y. So we have 2x minus y plus 4 left. And this is the final answer. 2x plus y multiplied by 2x minus y plus 4. C. Antonio travels 100 kilometers at an average speed of x kilometers per hour. He then travels a further 150 kilometers at an average speed of x plus 10 kilometers per hour. So the time taken for the whole journey is 4 hours and 20 minutes. According to the DST triangle, the time for the first part is equal to the distance divided by the speed. So the first distance is 100 kilometers. The first speed is x kilometers per hour. And the second time is equal to the second distance divided by the second speed. The distance is 150 kilometers and the speed is x plus 10 kilometers per hour. So we know that the total time is equal to t1 plus t2 equals 100 over x plus 150 over x plus 10. And this one is equal to 4 hours and 20 minutes. Now we need to convert 4 hours and 20 minutes means 20 over 60 hours. So this is 4 and 1/3 hours. And we also convert it to fraction. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13 over 3 hours. So the total time is 13 over 3 hours. And now we need to show that it is 13x squared minus 620x minus 3000 equals 0. First of all, we see that these two fractions have different denominators, so we need to write them as the same denominator, which is x multiplied by x plus 10. So 100 multiplied by x plus 10 and 150 multiplied by x, and everything is equal to 13 over 3 hours. For the numerator, 100 multiplied by x is 100x. 100 times 10 is 1000 plus 150x over x times x is x squared. X times 10 is 10x equals 13 over 3. And for the numerator, 100x plus 150x is 250x plus 1000 over x squared plus 10x equals 13 over 3. Now we cross multiply 250x plus 1000 multiplied by 3 is equal to x squared plus 10x multiplied by 13. 250x times 3 is 750x. 1000 times 3 is 3000. X squared times 13 is 13x squared. and 10x times 13 is 130x. And now we need to move the left hand side to the right hand side. So we have 13x squared plus 130x minus 750x minus 3000 equals 0. Then 13x squared 130 minus 750 is equal to 620x minus 3000 equals 0. So this is what we want to show. Second question, solve 13x squared minus 620x minus 3000 equals 0 to find the speed Antonio travels for the first 100 kilometers of the journey. You must show on your working and give your answer correct to one decimal place. In this case, it is a quadratic equation. A is 13, B is negative 620, and C is negative 3000. So we can use the quadratic formula negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. B is negative 620 plus or minus b squared negative 620 squared minus 4 times a, which is 13, and c is negative 3000. Then we divide all of this by 2 times a, which is 2 times 13. And we know that x should be a positive value because x is the speed of the first journey. So x is positive. So x is equal to 10 multiplied by the square root of 1351 plus 31 all over 13, which is 52.1 kilometers per hour. So we say that the speed is 52.1 kilometers per hour. Question 11. The diagram shows a sketch of y equals 18 plus 5x minus 2x squared. Find the coordinates of the point A, B, C. You know that the x-axis has an equation of y equals 0, and the y-axis has an equation of x equals 0. So to find the point B, we will substitute x equals 0 into the equation y equals 18 plus 5 times 0 minus 2 times 0 squared. So this one is 18. Then the point B is 0, 18. And to find the point A and C, points A and C, we substitute y equals 0 into the equation. So the equation is y equals 18 plus 5x minus 2x squared equals 0. We can solve this quadratic equation using a calculator. So you have two values, x is 4.5 or x is negative 2. And thus we have 2 points. The first point is 4.50 and the second point is negative 2, 0. You know that A has a negative value of x and C has a positive value of x. So A should be negative 2, 0, and C should be 4.50. Then B is 0, 18. B. Differentiate 18 plus 5x minus 2x squared. So the derivative of 18 is 0, the derivative of 5x is 5, and the derivative of x squared is 2x. So this one is equal to 5 minus 2 times 2x is 4x. C. Find the coordinates of the point on y equals 18 plus 5x minus 2x squared, where the gradient is 17. When the gradient is 17, this means 5 minus 4x is equal to 17. Now we subtract both sides. We subtract 5 from both sides. So it is 12. Then we divide both sides by -4. So x is equal to -3. And then we'll find the value of y by substituting x equals -3 multiplied by -3 squared. So y has a value of -15. So the answer is that x equals -3 and y equals -15. -3, -15. This is the end of the test.